evening and welcome back to game number 2 of tonight's Riot Squad Scrims. We are now in Miramar and we are watching team number 2 with a southern to eastern flight path. I'd say the first teams to jump are Team 21 Deathly Hallows, Team 8 Pen, Team 25 Vape, and Team 20, I apologise, it is ILU, and they are going to the southern end of the map near to Minas del Sur, Valdemar and Chumacera. And then we have the remaining teams just jumping out every couple of seconds, with a couple heading to Los Leones and La Bendita, and I'm sure we will see the final few go towards the northern areas of the map, such as Junkyard, El Azahar and Campo Militar. And it looks as though Team 2 Riot have dropped at El Azahar with Team 3 Riot, Team 13 PDX and Team 17 SK. So I'm sure in just a moment we'll see gunshots being fired as Team 2 group up together after landing. And hopefully I'm sure they will start taking on the other teams. But in saying that, we do have a member of Team 2 right under the nose of team number 3, and that is Riot Panda, and I would expect nothing less from the bear himself. And Panda is just above Killam on the roof. I'm thinking that maybe Killam hasn't worked out that a member of Team 2 is just above him. But here we go. Riot go over it, takes down the ZPX Ant-Man. So let's go straight over to Team 3 as they take on Team 13. And ZPX J is just taking down the and Get Over It has just taken down Jay. And Goddess is now being revived by Get Over It. It was a close call, but Goddess is back up and running. Members of SK. Ooh, and a beautifully thrown grenade takes down a Riot Get Over It, and that is from Katie. And Killam was unfortunately knocked downstairs in the building next door and is taken down by Haiti of Team 17. And now we are seeing a real mix of teams with Team 3 in there, with Team 13, Team 17, Team 23, and then Team 2 just wrapping around the outside. So I'm sure they will just be keeping a watchful eye on proceedings before choosing to get involved themselves. Because of the way that they've positioned themselves. You know, right on top of them, they are probably the scout in this situation. And then we have the remaining members of Team 2 all grouped together on the right hand side, who are just waiting for the go ahead from their scout. And that is Riot Panda. And from what I know of Panda, he's not really just a scout. You know, he can hold himself quite well as a player. So I think that they are using him as their scout, but he's knowledgeable of the other teams, I think, and the way that Miramar can really be used as a map, you know, because of the mountains, because of the high buildings. This isn't really a map just to be got at, you know. It's not one that you're just going to go mad on and start firing left, right and centre. It's one that you really need to be tactical with and sensible with. And I think that is really how these teams can get the most out of Miramar as a map. And, you know, I may come across patronising to some teams, and if that is the case, I really do apologise. It's not intended. It's just me sitting here, you know, from my position. I'm not playing, you know, I'm watching these teams and I'm seeing the way in which they're playing. And, you know, if I could hear the way in which they're speaking to each other and communicating, then I might be commentating a little differently. But I think I'm just saying it in the way in which I see it. And of course that will differ. Commentating here we go. So ZPX now starting to push. They did not want to wait. And that is Panther taken down by Riot Zen. And then it's Psycho that comes in and wipes out the Riot members. So that is Team 3 now out, courtesy of Team 23 ZPX. But we still have Riot Team 2. Hopefully, I'm going to repair the damage done to Riot's reputation of sorts. And then they'll try and get the kills themselves. And wow, just like that, ZPX are taken down by Team 17 SK. And that is why we only have 17 teams left remaining in game number 2. But as mentioned earlier, we still have game number 3 coming up. And that will either be Sandhawk or Erangel. And if I was Zen Neo, I would be hoping for Sandhawk. But I don't think it's going to be his day today, bless him. And I think it might be an Erangel match. But in all fairness, if it is an Erangel map, that will serve Neo right, as he is an absolute food monster. For those of you who do not know and who are new to Zen Neo, he suggested that we try a ham and peanut butter sandwich, which is an absolute beast of a move and one that I would not recommend. So I think it serves him right that he doesn't get Sandhawk as game number 3. But, you know, if you agree with him and you think ham and peanut butter are a good idea, you know what? Let me know. I would like to know if there are more Zen Neos out there. And if there are, God help us. But back to the match in hand. We are still with team number 2, Riot Mystic. Now what they're doing, they're retreating at the moment and are rotating round to try and get behind Team 13 and Team 17. You know, I think they may be following the words of their scout, Riot Panda, and just choosing to maybe sit back for the time being. You know, we're only 9 minutes in. There are still 17 teams and 62 players. So they don't have to get in it, you know, early on. They can take that kind of relaxed approach and just wait for the later stages of game number 2 before making those moves and trying to get some kills themselves. But for now, let's look at the zone. So we have a northern zone. And what we will do, whilst I mention that, is just go over to Team 19. As they go up against 10 of Team 8. Now Supreme is down. And looks as though some cover fire is being provided by the other members of Team 19. The shots are being fired back at them, so it's not a real secure spot for them to be at the moment. Supreme is still being fired at, but he has now been revived. And as I mentioned, we have got a northern zone, and the teams from the southern end, the eastern end, will need to start moving up. We have a couple of teams who are on the lines of the zone, one of them being Team 19, as I'm looking at now, as well as Team 8 Pen, Team 4, which is Jen, I believe, yep, and possibly Team 20 ILU, and they will then want to start gatekeeping these other teams and stop them from getting in, and they will then be able to get at least maybe 2 or 3 kills. But for now, I think what we're going to do is have another quick look now at Team 13. And this is the ZPX team. So they have got Team 2 Riot with them. And they are both outside of zone. So they will have that just in the back of their heads, just worrying a little bit about what damage the blue zone will do. But I think now as Team 2 start moving forward, this will be the opportunity for them to start using the blue zone to their advantage as it gradually chips away at the health of Team 2. And Wilo has got a crossbow. Not the weapon I would choose, but nonetheless, some people are really good with that, as they are with VSSs. Now, for me personally, I love a VSS. It's a great little weapon if you know how to use it and can use the drop that it provides. But you know, it's not for everybody, and I totally accept that and totally get that. You know, some people prefer particular weapon types, particular weapon setups. For me, VSS and the UMP, happy days. But Wilo is now going with a Kar 98 and a UMP, a great setup for Miramar. The Kar 98 for those long distance shots, the UMP for those fast paced situations that they found themselves in. Now Team 2 are in a minibus and now moving away. Oh, and shots are being fired back. Wilo being hit a great deal by using the first aid kit. Now in the later stages of the game, because of the amount of damage that the blue zone will do, they would not have time to use a first aid kit. They would have to use the bandages to hopefully outrun that blue zone and get their health up to a point whereby they can then use the first aid kits. And now Team 13 are doing the exact same thing inside a vehicle and now moving to the zone. So whilst they do that, let's go over to team number 4, which is Jen. And they are relatively calm at the moment, just doing a bit more looting. They have got Team 20 ILU to their left, as well as team number 10 just in the eastern direction. And wow, just like that, the play zone has taken down Zen Rider. And that will be because they are on the island. Looks as though Zen Rider unfortunately went AFK, so they will not be continuing in game number 2. But we also have Team 15 Dexter Gaming of the Elf team, and unfortunately they are taken down to purely because Elf Quan, Elf who was Cronus, were already dead, so there would be nobody left to revive Dexter, so they are now out. And we are now back with team number 2 of Riot going against team 11, and there we see Zen Neo. So we now have the scout of Team 2, Riot Panda, who is knocked. And you know what? I may be completely wrong about Riot Panda. He may not be the scout of Team 2. But it's just the way in which I saw it and the way I think they may be playing. But their roles may be completely different to what I am thinking. But nonetheless, they are going up against Team 11. We've got Riot Mystic, who's getting right up close to Zen Alex and Zen Neo of Team 11. And I'm biting my tongue not to say the word split, but I'm so sorry. It seems like a comfort word for me, and I'm sure if Vimes Gaming were here, he would be telling me off for that. But you know what? I like a good split. You know, 2-2, 2-1, 3-1, 1-1, any other number I can think of. But here we go. So Zen Alex is now down, unfortunately. We've got grenades being thrown. Riot Mystic being slightly damaged. But luckily, as you can see, he's not using any first aids. And that comes from the fact that he went into this first aid and is using boosts. And that will then recover the health whilst they are in amongst a good old fight. And that is Neo, unfortunately, taken down by Riot Mystic and an Uzi there. And that is Zen Alex that is taken down too. So we're now looking at Phil. And I will just check. And it is just Phil left. Mainly because, as I mentioned earlier, Zen Rider went AFK on the island to the eastern side. So was not able to take part in the rest of game 2. And it looks as though what Phil is doing now is just choosing to stay away from Team 2. And is trying to move south. So we now have the Riot team going up against Zen. And unfortunately, we've just seen Riot Mystic take down Phil from Team 11. So that is now Team 11 Zen out of game number 2. And we are seeing Team 2 Riot with 5 kills so far. We are 18 minutes in to game number 2, so we are now after halfway. So let's have our game recap whilst the game continues. So we have 13 teams remaining, 40 players left alive. The zone will change in around 1 minute's time. And we are looking at the centre zone, keeping in play San Martin and Hacienda, cutting off the water treatment. And we have Team 4 Gen, Team 7 Pen, Team 5 Gen and Team 20 ILU in the zone. We have a few teams coming up from the southern end, the western side and eastern side. We've got Team 2 Riot just rotating around. And here comes the zone, taking down members of FE. And I think for now we are going to go straight over to Team 8 Pen as they go past Team 4 Gen. And Menace's vehicle has just been taken out and shots are being fired. He is low on health. So any shot could be all it takes to take him down. He then goes prone just by the ridge, using the terrain to his advantage. Murdoch has just been finished, leaving Hamish, who is knocked, and Pen Menace, the last standing member of Team 8. And that is Vish, taken down courtesy of Pen Cons. And Pen Menace is now choosing to retreat, but we are seeing the Deathly Hallows team getting some knocks with Crazy taking down Zen Venom. So let's go straight over to Team 21 and have a look at Welshie as Team 21 now choose to get into their vehicle and make a move. Oh, and it is the RZ team with Crazy being taken down. And Welshie is knocked, but is being revived by Bazza, who made the good choice of jumping out of the vehicle before it had the chance to explode. We have got eyes knocked too, smokes being thrown, shots being fired. But luckily, oh, and Welshie is knocked again by Yaya and a Mini 14. So Bazza is just out of view of their shots. Smokes are being fired, but they are just in between the zone and the blue zone. They will need to make a move. Welshie is being fired at and Welshie is taken down again by Yaya and the M4. So let's just have a quick look at them and their view. And that is Welshie taken down, leaving Bazza and eyes left of Team 21, Deathly Hallows. So Team number 9 are just moving towards them, trying to do a bit of looting, but the blue zone is coming in, so they will need to make a move. It's not doing as much damage, so they are relatively safe as is. But we've got Abstract now moving towards Team 19 RZ. And Abstract has just taken down eyes from Deathly Hallows. But they should be revived by Bazza, so that shouldn't be much of an issue with them. And that is Bazza getting a knock on a member of Team 19. Brilliant shooting from all the way across the map from the Deathly Hallows guys. We still have Team 9 Zen going up to 5 Gen. That is Yaya, who is now Abstract, takes down Gen 1 Pound Fish. And takes down Chezak. here we go. Nix of Team 25 gets the knock and kill on Abstract, with Yaya getting the knock on One Pound Fish and the kill there, and also taking down Gen Tequila, and now using a first aid kit just to get a bit more health, and is now looting their kills. So we've got 8 teams remaining, 15 players. So let's have a quick look at where our teams stand. We have all 4 members of Team 2 Riot standing. And here is our zone. It's fairly open with a couple of buildings left from San Martin. We have got Team 9, which is Zen, just up on the mountaintop. And that is Penn taking down members of Team 21. We've got Baza left standing. So let's go over to Team 21, where we'll see Baza, who's about to go up against Team 8, Penn Menace. Here comes the blue. And Baza unfortunately got taken down by the zone, managed to take Penn Menace down just beforehand. So in just a few seconds we are now down to 4 teams, with Riot Team 2, Team 25 Nix, Team 22 FE and Team 13 ZPX left standing. And there we see our top 3 for game number 2. FE, who have been spotted by Riot Mystic of Team 2. They're throwing smokes just to make their way into the next zone. Now Team 22 FE have the advantage of being inside the building. We have Fluffy, who is knocked. Wilo gets the knock on FE Lawbean. And that is Riot Mystic who gets the finish. Wilo gets the knock on Riot Mystic. And we have Panda getting the revive. And there we see the play zone and getting the finish on Fluffy. And that will leave Wilo, the last standing member of Team 13. And that is Wilo getting the knock on Panda. And that is Amani getting the finish there. But Mystic manages to get the kill on Wilo. So it is 2 teams left standing. Riot against Fusion Elite. 4 players left standing. 3 from Team 2 alone. And that is the end of game number 2. And the winners are Riot with an impressive 10 kills. We have FE in second with 2. We have PDX ZPX in third with 5. We have Vape in fourth with 1. We have Zen in fifth with 12. We have Deathly Hallows in 6th with 3. We have Penn in 7th with 4. If you have enjoyed the stream, please follow the channel for new content. We will be back in just a moment for game number 3 of the Riot Squad Scrims. I am Abs, so please join us in just a moment for game number 3 We will be right back.